So it's a great delight to be here. I'm going to talk a little bit about love tonight. Can I kick off by asking you to cheer on 3 if you're in love at the moment? 1, 2, 3. Oh, good, excellent. This is a lovely audience. I asked that in London the other day, and the audience was all right. They were a little bit like, we're not cheering, we'll just sit here and rot in our skins, thank you very much. But there was a couple on the front row who went mental, who were like, yeah, we're really in love, we're so in love, it's amazing, we've been together for 6 years, we're so in love. And I was like, wow, that's fantastic, what's your secret? And she went, fear of loneliness. Which I thought was funny too, right? But then he didn't laugh, he was really pissed off, right? So he sat there like this and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not qualified to sort this out like Trisha is. And then he went, I bought you a storm. And he was so pissed off I couldn't even understand what he was saying. I said, what did you say? And he went, I bought her a star. And it turned out that he'd bought her a star, which is where you pay God or God's representative. And you buy a star. I don't know how you pay for it. I assume you throw all your pound coins in the air, then run away before they fall back down on your stupid head. And then the boy and the girl lie in the field at night and look at the sky, and she goes, is that my star, babe? And he goes, no, it's my ex's. It was 2 for the price of 1. So, you get a lovely letter from the star, though, saying, Dear Dad, thank you for adopting me. I've been an orphan for 37.5 billion years. I had wanted to be called Aragon, but will settle for your girlfriend's name of Sandra. By the time you read this, I will be dead. That's a science joke. Thank you for getting it. They didn't get that in Maidenhead. Fuck you. Fuck you, Maidenhead.
So it's not great. It's grim economic, particularly where I come from. It's worse than a recession. I have lived through several recessi, and this is worse than it's quite annoying. Like reading about what's happened in Ireland, which is a very human tragedy, and families being broken up, and people having to move overseas. Because you read about it in any newspapers here, and it's always just the party's over for Ireland. Like for 100 years, we were just out of our fucking minds, just flying around in helicopters, high-fiving each other, you know, sitting on ride-on vacuum cleaners, Hong Kong.
People do ask us, what is it that you do?
Yeah.
That's partly why I wanted to call this the alternative comedy experience, because I know that for a generation of people, alternative comedy is a pejorative term. And I
right,
like
yeah.
You go, yeah, that's it. You know,
every second joke's funny.
Yeah, every second joke's funny.
It's particularly annoying, I feel, because the factors that have led to this global situation are economically are all things, without exception, that I couldn't give a fuck about. You know, like property bubbles and speculation and short selling and you know, lack of bank regulation. And it's annoying when things you couldn't give a fuck about start having a massive effect on your life. It's like leaving your house one morning and your car is gone. And you're like, why is my car gone? Oh, because of badminton. I was in... I did some gigs in Australia in April, and they haven't had a recession in Australia for 21 years. They've no idea. They still have the shops that sell the really expensive, pointless things. You know, like it's sort of a plastic thing for cleaning the loo with the head of a daffodil for $100. Crisps made from radishes for a tenner. Sort of a box you're not quite sure whether you're meant to sit on or cook risotto in, and you're too scared to ask the lady who runs the shop because she's got a fringe like that, and she's just staring at you going, these things are not meant for you. And I had to explain that on the first day of our recession, we had those shops and they just all burst into flames. And were replaced immediately by other shops called Value Bastard! Discount shit! Where they just sell 20 cigarette lighters taped to a bottle of bleach from Ukraine. A Mars bar with the writing in Arabic with a SCART lead wound around it. It's free! Take it! Fuck off!
Yeah, man. So I'm Glenn. I don't know if you know me or not. But yeah, no, I am. It's good to. I lived in the UK for a very long time. I lived here for like 10 years, and then about 3 years ago, I was approached by the people of Hollywood. And they said, "Oh man, you've got to come to LA. We are gonna make you a star." So I said, "Goodbye, United Kingdom. Goodbye, Scotland. I'm off to California to be famous." So I'm back. Yeah. It's really hard to be famous. But I missed you. I missed you, Scotland. I did, man. You're different than America. You're subtly different. Like in Scotland, if you so choose and you see the opportunity, you're allowed to say cunt in public. You can't do that in America. No, they'll stop the bus. Stop the bus and you'll get a sniper rifle trained on you. Do not use that word in the country that my mother lives in, son! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Yes, America, where guns are fine, but words are spooky.
Hey, now, you've been doing stand-up and musical comedy for years and years and years anyway, but then you were in Peep Show, and loads of people watched that. Did people want to come and see Dobby?
I think that does sometimes happen.
And is that a problem? Because I know that it was a problem for Ardal O'Hanlon after Father Ted, that people wanted to see Father Dougal. And instead they got this rather erudite, thoughtful stand-up and were quite disappointed.
Yeah. It's a funny old world, isn't it? Yeah, give me a cheer if you've ever moved in with someone as a housemate and they seemed normal at the beginning, but then you found out they were a bit eccentric, stroke mental. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it seems to happen quite a lot. So that's happened to me so much. So here are my top 3 housemates where that happened. Number 3 is this girl called Claire with an eye, not with one eye in the middle of her head, one eye and her name, which is a really aggressive person, very big girl. She had loads and loads of freckles, so much so that in summer it seemed like she had orange skin with a few white bits. And she had a massive gap between her 2 front teeth, and she once bit into a jam donut, and a perfect arc of jam came through the gap and landed about that far away from her on a copy of Basic Instinct. And she was really aggressive, and she used to be like, "I fucking love romance, me. I fucking love romance. Me and men are like chalk and cheese. If chalk and cheese have sex in a cupboard, it's a funeral." And I was dating loads. When I lived with her, I was going on a lot of internet dates and stuff like that, and she said to me once, "I got 3 rules with dating, Izzy. 3 rules with dating. Number 1, always go to a brightly lit area on a first date. Rule number 2, never kiss on a first date. Rule number 3, always use a condom on the first date." What a lady, eh? Number 2 is this girl called Rachel, who I lived with in Guildford, and she was Australian, and she genuinely used to speak this fucking slowly. And she came downstairs once in a green top and brown trousers and went, "Do I look like a tree?" But at number 1 was this girl called Mariota, who I live with in London, Mariota from Slovenia. And she once looked at my face and went, "Your face, it's like your eyes are from one face, your nose from another, and your mouth from yet another. Together, it does not make sense." Cheers.
The sort of easy thing to say about your act is that you're a person who's come from another country, Germany, and you can look at Britain dispassionately as an outsider. But I think you're the sort of person who would be a dispassionate outsider irrespective of having come from another country. Is that not the case?
Yeah, that's probably, it's a good thing to say, yeah.
And actually being German is a very useful excuse for looking dispassionately at British society. But
yeah, certainly because it ties in the stereotype of Germans very dispassionate people, isn't it? So, like, why do people move abroad? It's always one of two reasons, isn't it? Either you want to broaden your horizon, or you're not needed back home. Usually it's the latter, but no matter why people move abroad, the one thing I can guarantee you is when you live abroad, you will become a lot more patriotic, a lot more nationalistic. In my case, that wasn't very good because I was already firmly right-wing and I was still living back home in the Ruhr Valley. And when you live abroad, you get national pride out of really strange events. Like I remember last year, reading in the newspaper that Germany had won the World Championships in marbles. And I was like, yeah! And until reading that, I didn't even know anyone over the age of 4 did play marbles. And never mind at a competitive level. Yeah, but on reading that, I was like, yeah! Yeah, I'm not saying it made my day. I mean, it certainly gave me a spring in my step for half an hour. Like, yeah! I send the marbles, yeah! Now, oh, I remember when we won Pope. Huh? Do you remember when Germany won the Catholic Church? And I was like, ja, Gott singe, ich liebe dich, du bist der Beste, yeah. Yeah, I was over the moon. And I'm not even Catholic. Ja, Gott singe. It was like winning the World Cup again. Yeah, Gott singe, ich liebe dich, du bist der Beste. And at the time, had I still been living back home in Germany, I would have just said, oh no. Not that reactionary Bavarian cunt.
But, wait, the Jubilee, that was a carry-on as well. Oh. I don't know, I didn't watch the boats going down. You can probably tell. I'm the kind of buddy that likes more excitement than that. What? Boats sailing down a river? Oh, that's not very exciting at all, no. And the Queen's the same. She wasn't very impressed with the idea either. You know, they went to her and they said, you know, what are you doing for the Jubilee? And she's... And what she wanted to do was just stay in the house. And they're like, you can't stay in the house. How no, I'm the Queen. You're no staying in the house. No, you're getting out for your Jubilee. And she says, can I no stay in, for goodness sake? And no, you're no staying in. And then she'd looked up the 7-day forecast. She was the... That's why she was raging and that.
So it's not a character, well, David Kay.
I like it when folk think that it's a character. And I invited some pals to see me, and they said, oh, you know, it's good to see a character comedian. We don't really see many of them. And they're like, well... I thought they were chatting about somebody else, considered.
You just have to remember it's not the end of the world, you know? It is still possible to find joy on these streets, even in the darkest places. My friend got the final warning from the gas people recently, which is a 3-paragraph letter designed to put the fear of God into you with a fake signature laser printed at the bottom. Oh, they mean business. How does he keep such a steady hand at a time like this? What removed any tension from it whatsoever was the headline across the top in bold writing, because that just said, your balance is outstanding. And it's impossible to look at that and not think, oh, hi, thank you. I guess you just have to think of where you find joy in the world and just follow that. I mean, God used to be a big thing at home. God used to be massive, you know, like bigger than MySpace or the Script, but like not so much anymore. I think, to be honest, whatever people used to get from the Lord, they just get the same thing from the internet now, because they're similar in that they're both invisible but all around us. And they know freaking everything. That's the advantage the internet has over the Lord. You can ask the internet quite specific questions. Like, we were always told as kids, God is always listening, ask God anything. So I'd be like, hey, God, why do bad people always seem to do so well in the world? And God would be like, well, David, here is a very ambiguous book. Well, with the internet, it can be much more specific. You know, did OMC have any other hits apart from How Bizarre? No, he didn't. Thank you, Internet Lord. Look and learn. Can't illegally download Deadwood off you either.
When you live abroad, you embrace everything remotely German. Like last year, the royal wedding. 1 million people lined the streets of London to watch overprivileged people drive non-competitively. What a thoroughly strange event. When you live abroad, you reconnect with back home, but you reconnect in a strange way. Like I was brought up in a very conservative way. I was forbidden from going to the Aldi. Because my mother wanted me to support independent retailers. So in Germany, I never ever set foot into the Aldi. But now, living in Tooting, South London, having an Aldi in the local area makes me proud to be German. Yeah, I'm in there every day, like, yay, it's the Aldi, yeah! Where I can get the Aldi meatballs made from toenails, yeah! It's the Aldi. The Aldi makes me reconnect with Germany. Admittedly, a Germany I never experienced. But how authentic do you want things to be? Having worked on the British stand-up scene now for the past 8 years, I've become a bit the go-to guy to host German and pseudo-German events in the United Kingdom. And my favourite run of events, they take place every autumn here in Scotland. At the German beer fests in Scotland. And they're rough. Huh? To give you an idea, the German beer fest in Aberdeen is the only event I've ever been to where I've seen someone that had shat himself. Just to give you an idea of what caliber event we're talking about. Eh? I mean, all men, we all have one dream. And that's we want at least once get so drunk that we shit ourselves and laugh about it. And that man managed the first tour right, but he did look rather contrite, so he shat himself too early or didn't drink enough, I don't know. No, and then at those German beer fests, they do need on-stage entertainment. Otherwise, they couldn't possibly get it past the licensing laws. And the on-stage entertainment at German beer fests all over the UK is always the same. It's always an Oompa band. And the most popular Oompa band in the UK, they're called Die Herr Flicks. After the Allo Allo character. And Die Herr Flicks are Terry, Lee and Andy. They're 3 Geordies and they haven't got a single word of German between them. They're incredibly, they have been performing very successfully on the British Oompa circuit, and yes, it does exist. They have been performing there very successfully for the past 30 years, yet they still haven't got a single word of German between them. Incredible. They get the tune spot on, but the words, they just make up. It's incredible. It's the equivalent of putting on a Chinese night and go, na 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 na. Well, and judging by your reaction, I might be quite a niche market for that.
You're about what, 2 years older than me or something like that.
I don't know how old are you?
Anyway, I'm 44. How old are you?
God, I'm 50.
Oh yeah, you're looking well. You
Thank
look
you very
about
much.
4 years younger than.
Oh, you look terrible. Which is the better one? You're only 44.
Yeah.
Jesus, what's happened to you, dude?
It's been hard.
God, you're not supposed to eat the awards. And this song is called I Found the Face of Jesus in My Cornflakes This Morning. How pissed was he last night? Her arms were very long, the elbows bent both ways. She wasn't a pretty girl, but boy could she wave.
I think my guiding principle, how I look on all aspects of life, is common sense.
Yeah.
So it's less principles. And have I got a political party in the UK? Well, probably UK Independence Party, but
Well, I'm really glad about that, because I know when this goes out, because Josie Long's in it, there'll be Daily Telegraph bloggers going, oh, he's got a left-wing bias. Basically, you're going to be heavily featured to give a counterweight.